What do you know about Lot's people, Maurice?
I know that the story of the Lot who has a relationship of kinship with the prophet Abraham, and the angels that came to Abraham to inform him of the destruction of the village of Lot, or the village that used to the evil, until two handsome young men came to Lot's house and wanted to commit adultery with his guest. And he did not know that they were angels, so Lot offered them to marry his daughters. But they refused, so the revelation came to tell that Lot Allah orders him and his family to leave except for his wife from the village, and God's punishment was for the village because of their obscenity.
Yes, and the Quran has proven the story of Lot with his people, mentioning the most important scenes from his life in about 6 surahs. And the most significant fact in his story is that 1. His belief in his uncle Ibrahim and his emigration with him. 2. His prophethood and message to the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. 3. His call to his people is like the call of the messengers, and his advice to them to abandon the obscenity they are in, and warn them of the consequence of their evil. 4. Evidence that his people were homosexuals who had sexual intercourse with men without women, and openly declared their homosexuality, so they committed evil in their clubs. 5. Proof that his people used to cut off the road, so they did not let a traveler or merchant pass on their way except that they harmed him, assaulted him and took his money. 6. A statement that when he advised his people and preached them, their response was only to say, "Get them out your village, for they are people who purify themselves," meaning him and his family.
But in Judaism and Christianity, he is Lot bin Haran bin Terah, and he is the nephew of Abraham, the friend of God. He emigrated with Abraham, the friend of God, to Haran, then to Canaan. Then he traveled with him to Egypt, then returned to Canaan. A dispute occurred between Abraham's people and Lot's people. After him, God's friend Abraham suggested that Lot expand in the land in order not to cause a conflict between their shepherds or between them. So Lot traveled east across the Jordan River to the city of Sodom.
Yes, and the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was the indecency that was among men as mentioned in the Bible. So Lot visited 2 angels in order to save him and his family from the torment that God would inflict on Sodom and Gomorrah. After that, it happened that Lot took refuge in a city called Zoar by order of the angel, and then he traveled again to the mountains.
And Lot is not a prophet for the Jewish and Christian religions, but rather a good man.
Thanks for your information, Maurice. It was a treasure for me.
You're welcome, Cristiano.